Hey, what's going on, you crazy kitty cats? It's Elder here. This video was not scheduled, but this morning something was made very apparent to me, and I haven't seen anybody else make a video on this, and I think it's something really impactful, and I think more people should probably know about it, as some really crazy ass stuff has been happening today, and me and a few friends have been digging around, trying to find any answers or meaning behind this. It all started when I was browsing on the 4chan paranormal board this morning. I came across a thread talking about some really spooky stuff on Google Translate. My first reaction, as with anything on 4chan, was just that it was untrue. But I tried it anyway. I replicated it with some of the same letter combinations that the OP did. And in fact, it did come out with the same output that OP had screenshotted. I figured it was, just kind of probably like a cool coincidence, as the input was just a series of letters back to back. But as I added more, the whole series of words changed, and not just a couple of the words changed, what it was saying, the meaning of it completely changed, just by adding one extra letter to what he had typed in. Intrigued, I went back to the thread for more answers. One of the first things I saw when I got back in the thread was an input of random letters, and the output was, "Please ask me if you have any questions." So many posters started asking the Somalian Google Translate various things, to which it gave strangely accurate responses. And here are kind of some of the best ones that I'm showing you right now. It answered really well, honestly. And after me and many others asked it more and more questions, we realized that we were starting to get a few common themes. Even with completely different inputs, it was saying some of kind of the same stuff. Firstly, the easiest and most crazy sounding theme was some of the religion stuff. A lot of it seemed to be really heavily broken, kind of, woe is me, very heavenly. And but it didn't seem like it seemed like some kind of synopsis or newer piece about these things rather than kind of the original text like the Quran or the Bible. It just didn't add up properly like something like an original text would. And like I said, we were getting many pieces to this kind of whole religion puzzle, typing in just two-letter phrases. After everybody had kind of, contributed what they had, we eventually got some semblance of a complete text. And it was generally agreed upon that, if you were two-letter combination or in some cases three-letter combination worked, the more you added in the input, the more output it would be. So if you had a couple A's, it would give you a sentence, and then if you added two more, it would give you a completely different sentence. But eventually it would start tying all the sentences together. Like I said, it's sometimes repeated over and over, but you also got decently sized, full blocks of text. I completely quickly realized that there were completely different things in the output than just one theme. Like I said, the religion stuff was obviously there, but we started to get some really strange political stuff. Strangely, probably the craziest one is if you type in Korea repeatedly, kind of broken up in the middle, it says you will be given the opportunity to be re-elected. And it said some other generally really weird things. It sounded like some kind of political official's chat log. The other slightly disconcerting thing is that many times in between giving us pieces to the conversation, it would spit out huge blocks of Russian and Kyrgyzstan text that would just translate back to other random nonsense. Sometimes it would just give us the same word in Russian over and over again. But the strange thing was the log seemed personal. It wasn't like it was some public declaration, it's like a conversation almost between some political officials. Like I'm showing you these here. It just feels very personal. Like this would be a great way for you to come to our country and you will be given the opportunity to be reelected. It seems like, you know, very personal, like two political officials talking, and then you have all the Russian text added in there. I'm don't want to accuse Google, but these do seem like slightly personal to be putting out on, Google Translate. But okay, you might say there's some weird coincidences and some chat logs, but between what seems to be political officials. That stuff is all over the internet. It's probably just a glitch. And that's where I would like to point you to a few things. Firstly, what seems to be logs of some website, potentially Discus, as this says, please enable JavaScript to power the comments powered by Discus. Me and my friends think that possibly, at least in some way, there could be a correlation with these backlogs that Somalian Google Translate is spitting at us and Discus. Discus seems to be a forum site with hundreds of millions of users, and it's kind of like a website hosting thing. I don't fully know exactly what it is, but I could definitely see things of many different topics, being in Discus, so it would kind of really easily spit kind of those backlogs out at us. Many of the files it spit at us was kind of like a computer, like a sign-in thing, informing people that they had not signed in. But it starts to get kind of scary when you factor in the potential for this. It actually gave us some personal information, including but not limited to email addresses, what looks to be entire dating profiles, and even some Facebook links. All the links that I've shown you guys are broken, but be sure to know that this is willing to give you far more information than what is shown here. Potentially the most disturbing thing is what seems to be the logs between a doctor and a patient, informing them that they have a chronic disease and have a higher chance to be infected. I didn't dig very hard at this one, 'cause at some point it just feels like a breach of privacy, and that's not my thing. When you hear some of the things like out of context, it can sound like really funny, but when you get more and more of it and add kind of the conversations together, it adds some strange sense of like realism. And let's not forget, we're talking about typing gibberish. I typed in Gucci Gang. I typed in just this crazy stuff into Google Translate, and it was giving us like these really serious logs. When you start to get like a bigger chunk of whatever text it is that, Somalian Google Translate decides to throw out, there are honestly just tons of these stories and really endless possibilities. If you guys find something you think is crazy or I haven't covered here, be sure to let me know in the comment section. I contacted Google and haven't gotten any sort of response because I don't have enough clout or hose. But in all seriousness, this is some crazy stuff, and be sure to share it to your friends if you think it's something that they would like, and be sure to tell me what you think is going on here. Because the only people that would have any ideas are the people that actually work at Google. Hope you guys enjoyed. I am super grateful for all the support I've been getting. It's been really awesome to me. We're almost at 50 subs, and that's actually so crazy for 1 month. It just means the world to me. I love each and every one of you. Peace out, guys.